What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for the third video of today. It is still Saturday. We're jumping to DIY Dad's 04 Hemi Ram. I believe it's got about 190,000 miles on it. So we took the EGR valve back off, right? And the reason why I took it back off is because of this right here. That plug just free spins, right? I don't think that's right. And if I remember correctly, this is the second one. So the first one we got didn't do that. Now I have got the battery disconnected, and we are gonna go over a couple of more things while we're out here messing with it. Now the second thing we're gonna do, we're about to take off and go get this replaced with a whole nother brand and everything, is we're gonna take the EGR pipe off from the valve to the intake and make sure it's not plugged up and clean out what we can clean out to make sure it's flowing properly. Now, the symptoms he's experiencing once again is bogging down up a hill. It comes down to a rough idle or a strange idle when he comes off the freeway or exits or something like that and pulls up to a red light, and excessive fuel consumption, which to me, oh, and he also smells fuel coming out of the exhaust, which to me leads me to believe that the EGR valve is still stuck open, which I'm not really sure. Now, I disconnected the battery before I could give you the code. I had to get my train of thought together. The code was P0404, which is EGR Circuit Range Performance Code. And if you look it up, it states that the EGR valve is most likely stuck open or stuck closed. So we're gonna run to the auto parts. We're gonna get this going, man. Y'all sit back and relax, enjoy the content, and here we go with another one. So we finally made it back in the auto parts, guys. It took us 2 hours to go get all these parts, man. So we got a new EGR, we got a new PCV. Now, which I wanna show you this, look at this. Look at that. And then look at that one. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's what the old one looks like. Now, there's a few more things I want to talk about. One, look at this. And I know you can't see in there well, but just seeing the surface of it like that, it's got to be terrible. And then this here, let me get that camera right. Look, you literally just push your clip around it like that, right? And when you push it around, you pull it off. See, came off. And then watch this. Boom, your pipe comes out. That was simple, didn't need any tools. So let's pull this thing off, all the way out, up, there we go. Now, let's see what we got. So now that we got it off, we look down in it. Like I said, we're gonna test it. I'm gonna wipe this off, right? It's not par for the course, but it is par for the course, if you understand. Here we go. Oh, that thing's clear. That thing is clear. So, one thing I wanna note is that with this new EGR, we have it right here. One thing, that does not spin like it's supposed to. So I feel like that was an issue. Two, I feel like the PCV valve was an issue. Thirdly, right, we got two more things to talk about. This is probably the reason why he's experienced some rough idle. So we're gonna take that off and clean that also while we're here. And then this battery cable here. So stick around to the end of the video. I wanna show you something I found and explain to you why it's not legit. I don't like telling people what not to do. I'd rather tell them what to do so they know what's going on. But in this instance, I have to show y'all and tell you what not to do, especially with your Hemi trucks. So let's get into this. The first thing I want to do is I want to scrape some of this crustation out of here. Now I have my handy dandy home / shop vac. We're gonna kick it on, and this is what we're gonna do. Because I don't want this stuff falling down in the engine, right? And I need to get it out of there. So we're just gonna keep on keeping on. until we get some of that stuff out of there, because that's not right, man. And then when I scrape it like that, I want to keep that vacuum there, so anything loose that comes off, I can get it out. I don't want it falling down in there, right? Stick that bag on there, let it suck that stuff out of there. I mean, you can hear it breaking loose every once in a while. You can hear that vacuum pick some trash up. I mean, look at that, dude. So, gonna put our handy dandy tip bag on there one more time. So, it's probably not the best, but I guarantee it's better than what it was. Plus, we're gonna wipe this screwdriver off real quick. Now, let's go ahead and put this thing back in there. You hear it? It rattles, you know it's good. You can actually see it rattling in there. And get your pliers or whatever you got and make sure it's all the way, right? Your little tit right here will lock onto the bottom and it's all the way in. That's that. Now, we don't have to do anything with the EGR pipe. So, we're gonna go ahead and put that back in there. Gotta reroute it, make sure it's routed the right way, gentlemen. You're gonna push it back in there like so. Where's our little clip? So our little clip, your hook part like that's gonna be to the outside, right? And you're gonna put it back on there. You gotta slide it over there. Up, up. You gotta get it over this. Well, let me get this insulation out of the way, gentlemen. It's a little easier coming off than going back on, guys. Let's see if we can't do it from the top. And then spin it over, right? Just like so. So it works better if you just get it from the top like that and then spin it over, and look, it's in there. That's how it come out, that's how it goes in. Boom. Your hose is in place, it's in the right place. So with that, let me get my tools set up. We're gonna bolt this EGR back up, pull that throttle body off, clean it, bolt it back up. We're gonna talk about the negative terminal over here, and then we'll wrap this video up. All right, man, we got that throttle body off. Look down in that intake, it looks a little dirty. I'm gonna get DIY Dad to wipe that out while I'm cleaning this up. Now, there's two things here. One, that thing is filthy. Two, y'all just seen that, oh, whoa, that thing almost took off. So this truck has a throttle spacer plate on there, and I'm not sure why. Now, I am gonna put it back because I took it off, and as sure as I don't put it back, it's gonna cause issues. So we will put it back on there, but I wanted to note that the 03 and the 09 does not have this spacer on there. So if anybody knows why that's on there, or if it's 04 particular or something like that, drop down in the comments, let me know. I'm curious and would like to know. So we're gonna carry on with cleaning this throttle body, get it bolted back up. I'll give you a shot. You've seen the before one more time. Not very good. Flip it over, not very good. So, like I've stated in my other throttle body cleaning videos, we're gonna move the flat, be gentle, don't bend it, don't put pressure on it, because your throttle position sensor is inside electronic and you'll mess it up. So be gentle when you're moving that blade around in there. So let me get this going. So we got it cleaned up, fellas. Here's our spacer plate. I mean, I got it as shiny as I could. Clean the inside out. There was a little bit of gunk in there, and then look at this throttle body. That's the inside, which would bolt to the intake. That's the outside, which would bolt to your cold air induction or your resonator, whichever one. So it is super clean. Now y'all see that gap in there? Let me turn this thing. So you see the gap all the way around it? So you want to have that gap in there, right? So whenever it gets clogged up with all that debris and all that, you know, burnt oil and all this other stuff, and that gap fills in, well, that's your idle, right? So when your throttle body shuts all the way off, that little bit of gap around that blade is what helps your truck idle, because it's got to let a certain amount of air pass to mix with the fuel for the truck to run. So we got it all clean. Let me show you this. DIY Dad cleaned that out as good as he can get his hand in there, right? So let's bolt this back up. We're gonna go over the battery. We have to do an oil change, and then we're gonna kill this video. Man, that thing sure looks nice on there, dude. You see the blue PCV valve, new? Check the hose. New EGR, the top does not spin, which it should not. Throttle body, clean, clean, clean. Now, before we do the oil change, that'll be the last thing. So, if you go back to a few videos ago with this truck, and you heard me start it, right? And it went, ju-ju, right? And it drug, which we went through this problem on the 03 Hemi Ram. Now, like I stated earlier, I don't like telling people what not to do. I'd rather tell them what to do so they know what's going on with the situation. But in this instance, this right here is not acceptable for your negative power wire. So this right here, this dinky little speaker wire was tied to this right here, right, the wires, and then it was hooked up to the terminal and hooked up to the battery. So I realized that the last time he was over here, I took it off, I cut the wires, we put it in the terminal correctly, right? Whoa. And then when this is all said and done, I'll start the truck and I'll let you hear it. And I'll let you hear how healthy it sounds. So with that, do not think that it is acceptable to get a speaker wire to hook up to your battery, to anything in this truck when it comes to engine power, right? Or a sensor or something of that nature, right? Now, if you're doing an aftermarket radio, that's on you, or something like that, that's on you. But when it comes to the starting and the running and the power for the stock engine or vehicle, dude, this wire right here is not acceptable. It will not work. It will drag and drag and drag. And now that we got this, which the terminal's trash, so we're gonna replace the terminal, put it on there, and then we're gonna do the oil change. We'll fire it up. I'll let you hear how it starts and doesn't drag now. And then hopefully all will be good. Check engine light will be gone. And with that, the O2 sensor is not acting up now. So until it does, I'm not gonna do anything with it, because why mess with something that's not broke, right? Right. So check it out, dude. I said one thing wrong. That is your negative or your ground to your battery. That wire was on, which still affected the truck that much. Another thing, man. So even at the Auto Guy DIY garage, or in Bill's garage, sometimes, man, things don't work out. So we're changing this terminal out here, but you got to have your body ground right here tied in. So the end is too small for the new bolt, and then this one here is chintzy, so we don't want to use it. So we're dropping back and punting. We got us a rat tail file. We're just gonna open that hole up and get it going. So that's one of the things about working on your own cars, is that when things don't go as planned, which sometimes they do not, always drop back and punt and problem solve. Because if there's a will, there's a way. I guarantee it. All right, so we got it filed out, got it through, got the new terminal on there. Like I've stated before, always take your top plate and flip it over, because the hump goes up. Flip it over and point it down, right? Make sure your wires are in there. I mean, I can literally move the battery with it, so those are secure. This is secure, right? So I'm gonna run through this oil change real quick. I'm gonna wipe this pan out. I'll show y'all that I wiped the pan out. We'll do the oil change, and then I'll show you what came out of the truck. Man, it's been a long day. This oil pan is clean, clean, clean. So I'm gonna run through this. I'm not gonna record it. I'm just gonna do it real quick. I'll give it a second for the oil to run down, and then I'll show you what's in the bottom of the pan. Seeing that PCV valve, I'm really curious. So my wife went and got my handy dandy light so we can look, see if we see any shiny shimmers in here. There is a little bit, but I mean, that looks like normal bearing wear. The same thing that comes out of the white truck, same thing that comes out of the 03 Old Blue. So I'm not gonna say anything about maybe the engine's in bad shape. I feel like it's healthy. We get this EGR problem fixed, get the check engine light off the dash. Man, we're talking another 400,000 out of this one. So we're about to fire it up, let y'all hear it. You can hear how healthy it sounds when it starts up. We can also see how it runs. We're gonna do a quick run through. So today's topics were PCV valve, clean the throttle body, take the EGR tube off, or pipe, whatever you want to call it, replace the EGR with a different brand. We did not go back with standard. We went with, I believe it's a Dorman. We got it from Napa. I love my Dorman parts. So after that, we changed the terminal out. I showed y'all why. Nice and tight. Got the oil change. The oil doesn't look too bad. Well guys, it's been a long day, dude, between the headlight wiring on the 03 Hemi Ram and everything I just went through that we did on the 04 Hemi Ram. The code will be gone. I had to disconnect the battery. So I'll have to give you an update if it comes back or not, but he's about to fire it up. Let's see what it's got. And so here we go. Hit it, Pop. You hear how healthy that thing sounded when it fired up? That start, that choo-choo. And it seemed to catch really quick. So the truck sounds great. I mean, great, dude. We're gonna walk over here. Let me show you the actual mileage. I told you, I think it's 190,000. It is 192,177 miles. So we are trying to get all the kinks out of this truck, man. It needs a lot of tender love and care, and we're gonna get it there. I guarantee you, dude. Here in Bill's Garage with the Auto Guy DIY and DIY Dad, we're definitely gonna set them up and knock them down. So with all that, dude, keep living the dream, doing your thing. It's been one long day and a beautiful day. So I'm gonna give you one shot of these three Rams. 04, 09, 03,